The Cincinnati Bengals D is the key to the Cincinnati Bengals' success this season. Yes, that's right. You heard me. The Cincinnati Bengals defense is the key to the success of the Bengals this season. The defense has to step up. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. They've already proved it to us last year. It doesn't matter how great this offense is. If the defense does not step up, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you pay Jamar Chase. It doesn't matter how much you pay T. Higgins. It doesn't matter how much you pay Joe Burrow. It doesn't matter how many weapons you give Joe Burrow, including Noah Fant. If the defense cannot stop the opposing offense, then what are we doing? And I don't think I'm speaking anything that nobody understands or doesn't agree with. Yeah, of course, if your defense sucks, then it's going to be hard to win games. I think we can all agree on that. Hopefully you do. If you don't, so be it. To each his own. The Bengals did add some pieces and lost some pieces this season with the departure of Jermaine Pratt. The departure of Mike Hilton, unfortunately. Those were solid key pieces to the Bengals' success. I don't care what you say, how you feel about it. To me, Jermaine Pratt was a solid linebacker. You don't get solid linebackers. They don't come too often. Whenever you get a solid linebacker like that, be grateful for him. They did draft Demetrius Knight to replace Jermaine Pratt at the linebacker position. Demetrius Knight, rookie out of South Carolina. I'm curious to see how he does. He's an older rookie. I believe he's 23 or 24. Plays fast, attacks the ball just how you would like your linebacker to do. I think he will be responsible for a lot of the run gaps. I believe. New defensive coordinator Al Golden, first year with the Cincinnati Bengals, coming over from the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I'm excited. I loved Lou Anarumo more than anybody. I thought Lou was a great D coordinator. Now he's over at the Indianapolis Colts, I believe. Lou was great, but sometimes it's time to hit the reset button, refresher. Sometimes it's okay to move on. Sometimes you hit a standstill and, it's just time to change it up. Also, the Bengals have added TJ Slayton to help plug up that middle, to help stop that run. Also, D-tackle Taven Bryan, coming over from, it's either I know he played for the Colts and the Cleveland Browns. I think he's coming straight over from the Browns. He's a proven vet. This is like his 7th or 8th season in the league. He's bounced around with a few teams, but he definitely produces. That's a big thing in NFL production. He has production. So it seems like the Cincinnati Bengals have made their bed and they're ready to lay in it with this defensive line that they've assembled with B.J. Hill, T.J. Slayton, Taven Bryan, and you have McKinley Jackson and also Chris Jenkins Jr., who I am excited about personally. Jenkins, I believe he will step into his own this season, and there's some nice depth there at D-tackle. A lot of bodies to rotate in that 4-3 defense of Al's. That attacking defense, they say he likes to play an aggressive defensive style. So I'm excited about this season. I honestly, my belief is that the defense will be somewhere around the same, if not just a little better. I believe the Cincinnati Bengals overall finished 25th in the NFL, just absolutely atrocious. You cannot You cannot afford to do that. Averaging, I believe it was 126 yards on the ground a game. I know when we went to the Super Bowl, it was only around 106 yards a game. And having to play the Baltimore Ravens twice a year, the likes of the Steelers who love the run, it is important that the Cincinnati Bengals get this defensive line together. I hope that TJ Slaton and Taven Bryan will be enough to help those guys in the middle rotate those bodies, fresh bodies throughout the game. I believe that will only help the Bengals. That's why I say they will get somewhat better. Maybe top 20, hopefully top 15. Because this Bengals team, their defense, it doesn't have to be top 5. And not in no way, shape, or form does the Cincinnati Bengals have to have even a top 10. As long as we don't finish 25th or worse than what we did last season, and we were still able to finish off the season 9-8, with that atrocious starting off the season 4-8, and then winning out 5-0 the last stretch. The defense has to set the tone for the offense. They have to make it hard on the opposing teams. With that said, with the D tackles, I do like the addition of the D tackles. We all know Shamar Stewart finally getting his contract signed. Or I think it was around $18 million, 10 guaranteed. So glad that he's finally getting back into the mix of things, being sidelined for all of, I think it was mandatory minicamp for the rookies. I believe he missed, but now he is here. Trey Hendrickson, not in uniform, but is on the field. I believe that we will get to a point where that contract will get signed or extended for Trey Hendrickson. I'm very optimistic about that. With those two guys, to addition to the defensive line, that only makes us that much better. 17 and a half sacks the last 2 seasons for Trey Hendrickson. I don't see why you don't pay a guy like that, especially with a struggling defense such as this one. It only makes sense for them to make sure he stays a Bengal. I mean, it only makes sense. Now, my area of concern, me personally, is the secondary. With the releasing of Mike Hilton, well, not released, but they didn't renew his contract or anything like that. DJ Turner has to step up this season. He has to be ready to fill in that number 2 role. I know he went out early last season with a collarbone injury. Hopefully he's recovered from that. Hopefully there's no lingering issues going into this season. Hopefully he's ready to pop and line up with Cam Taylor-Britt. And then Dax Hill, I believe he's at nickel. I believe he's got to prove it too. Dax Hill, I believe he's been injured in his career. The Cincinnati Bengals see something in these guys. Whether I don't know whether it's they wanted to stay cheap because they believe so much in this offense, or do they really believe in these guys such as DJ Turner and Dax Hill? With Cam Taylor-Britt being by far the clear number 1 corner on this team. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So yeah, DJ Turner, to me it's a prove it year. Show us what you got. Highly regarded coming out of Michigan, came out in the 2nd round, 60th pick to us. I was excited about that pick because he was a really good corner. 5'11", 185. He's almost like a Lattimore-esque to me. And build-wise, I'm not saying he's nowhere as good as him. And then Dax Hill, 6 foot, 190, 200 pounds. There's potential there. And then I'm excited. What I'm most excited for on this Cincinnati Bengals team is Geno Stone and Jordan Battle. Geno Stone getting those 4 interceptions last season, man, and the 7 previous with Baltimore, getting 4 last year with the Bengals. I'm excited for that, and Jordan Battle coming into his own. I think he is going to own that safety position. I think he is going to help set the tone for the Cincinnati Bengals team, help limit the over-the-top balls, you know, and really take a step and come into his own. I see him and Jamar Chase, they get into heated back and forths at practice. Man, to me, he's challenging himself. He wants the best out of himself. And man, what can you ask for? What more can you ask for than that? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you cannot allow the Bengals last season lost 4 games when scoring 33 points or more in those games. The defense has got to step up, and it starts with the run. We've got bodies. Now it's just time to see what happens. Put the product on the field and see what we got. This is what we got. This is what we got to work with. Yeah. So that's it. The defense is the key to the Cincinnati Bengals' success. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 300 subscribers. So if you could subscribe and like these videos and even share them, I would really, really appreciate it. Hoo day, baby. Peace out.